Hey guys and gals, it's Dr. Sam Robbins, and today's topic affects both men and women. It's a popular topic. A lot of guys are always asking about it, but today's a little bit more focused for women. But again, the same information applies for men. So if you're a guy and you're listening to it and you want to include your significant other, wife, girlfriend, make sure she can listen. And ladies, this is information definitely pertains to you, and it's about women and low testosterone and low libido and how it's becoming an epidemic, and I'll discuss also proven solutions. Now, as we all know, sex sells, and the topic of libido and testosterone is always a popular one with my male audience. And I've done over a dozen videos about this topic and the best natural solutions, and yet the questions keep coming, which I welcome, all right? And I mention this because I've gotten a lot of private messages from guys thanking me for the solutions and fixes that I've given them and how their testosterone levels and, their sex drive and libido and erections have all improved tremendously, and how they feel more confident. And yes, their intimate relationships are so much better. So that's the good news. However, I have also received a lot of follow-up questions from guys such as, do these same solutions work for women as well? Such as, my girlfriend or wife. Or my wife or girlfriend wants to know if there's anything specific for women and, the libido and all that stuff. Do the same vitamins and herbs and supplements and all that stuff that work for men also work for women? Thus, it's not only us guys who want better libido and need higher testosterone, but women also. And guess what? The research also shows that women are dealing with this very similar quote-unquote low testosterone epidemic that the men are, which is also negatively affecting their libido, their sexual happiness, and their ability to achieve orgasms. And all this stuff is obviously going to negatively affect relationships because sex is such an important part of a relationship, a healthy relationship. Not to mention testosterone helps improve your mood, your muscle tone, and fat loss. And that's what today's video will be all about. However, since this can be a very detailed and long topic, I decided to keep it really short and just get right to the basics with the best solutions. First, with some scary stats. There are numerous studies showing that well over 55 to 60% of women between the ages of 18 to 65 are suffering from quote-unquote sexual dysfunction. Unfortunately, instead of fixing the root cause of the problem, which is usually hormonal, these poor women are being referred to counseling or a therapist and then are diagnosed with, depression or some other quote unquote emotional issues. And then they're given drugs that further decrease their libido, to help deal with this depression. So let's talk about the biology of it. Just remember that all animals produce testosterone, basically, all the same hormones. It's just that women and men produce different amounts. Thus, men typically produce, a lot more testosterone, and women produce more female hormones such as estrogen and progesterone than the men. However, we all respond similarly to these hormones. Thus, women also need the right amount and levels of testosterone. In fact, they are much more sensitive to testosterone than men. Thus, when it drops, the levels of testosterone drops, they really feel the negatives, and when it's up, they really feel all the positives. Now, let's talk about the causes. Some of the same things that cause low testosterone in men are also the same in women. For example, having extra stress or lack of sleep, poor diets, eating the wrong foods, vegetarian diet, high soy intake will also do it, not exercising, gaining excess body fat, and so forth. There's also drugs that can, cause hormonal imbalances, such as blood pressure drugs, antibiotics, sleeping pills, alcohol, and yes, women, wine is alcohol, marijuana, and others, as well as SSRI drugs such as Prozac, which are used for depression and similar symptoms. Unfortunately, these types of drugs are prescribed more to women than men. However, there's one major cause that's very specific and negative for women, and that's birth control pills. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't take it or not, but those who are taking it are going to feel the negative effects of lower testosterone levels. Remember, birth control pills, or whether it's an injection form, are typically two female hormones, estrogen and or progesterone, which reduce sex drive directly, these two hormones do, and then indirectly because they also lower testosterone levels. Thus, it's like a double punch. So let's get to the part that most of you are interested in. What are the best solutions, especially the natural ones? But let's talk about all the solutions. First, there are drug solutions. As far as the drugs or pharmaceutical methods, just like men, we would do something called testosterone replacement therapy. And just in men, I suggest this to be the last option, especially for women. You see, for men, the problem is that once you start with the testosterone injections or topicals or anything, you really can't stop because the testosterone being exogenous shuts down your endogenous, basically shuts down your testicles, and thus not only do they start to shrink, but now they stop working over time, and it's a lifelong permanent treatment that guys need to deal with. Also, if you want to have kids, forget about it, all right? Once you shut down your own testosterone levels, your testicles and so forth, you're not going to be producing much in sperm. In fact, testosterone therapy is a male contraceptive, thus what's called as a male birth control. Anyway, the biggest problem with women taking testosterone is that, remember, they are hypersensitive to it, and it can quickly cause negative side effects such as hair loss in them, increased body hair like facial hair, right? Chin and mustache, as well as a deepening of the voice over time. You know, for a guy, these things won't really happen. They won't notice it. It won't really matter. Maybe they welcome, a deepening of the voice, but definitely not for women. All right. It'll make them more manly and less feminine. In fact, that's how you do sexual transition change. You give them testosterone. And trust me, most HRT, hormone replacement doctors and clinics and all that stuff, they are giving way too high dose for women, even as men as well. Initially, there's this awesome sexual response, with the TRT, which will soon follow with all these potentially permanent side effects. Like I said, the balding and the facial hair and the clitoral growth as well. Also the voice change and so forth. So it's always best to focus on natural solutions and improve your diet and lifestyle and exercise before you ever do drugs. All right. So let's talk about the natural solutions. For women especially, there are a few supplements that work very well, specifically for women. One of them is DHEA. This is more of a precursor hormone to testosterone. It's produced mostly in the adrenal glands. Unfortunately, this hormone peaks in the early 20s, and thus it's a good idea to optimize it as we get older. And the cool part is that it's over the counter, at least in the US, so you don't need a prescription. I would start with a very low dose, say 10 milligrams, taken in the morning with food. See how you feel for a couple of weeks, and then maybe you want to increase it to maybe 25 milligrams for a few weeks, see how you feel, and then finally maybe 50 milligrams. Just be mindful because you want to reduce any potential side effects. Boron is another supplement that works very well for both men and women. I'd start with maybe 5 milligrams daily for a few weeks. Again, see how it goes, and then maybe up to 10 milligrams. Also, the mineral zinc is very helpful. Make sure you take it with copper because these two minerals need to be balanced together. I've got videos for this as well. Lastly, there are very specific and potent herbs that help increase testosterone levels in men, but as well in women. And these include tribulus, tongat ali, also horny goatweed, fadagio, and there's a few other ones, and I've listed them all below in the description area. Of course, if you have any questions or comments or need clarity about anything, please post them below in the comment section. Just know that we are all very similar. The body works and functions similarly, and we want and need similar things, and we have similar desires. Testosterone is needed for both men and women, just in the optimal dosages. Sadly, all of us are lacking in this amazing hormone these days due to modern lifestyles. So whether you're a man or woman and you want to improve your libido, right, your sexual performance and your sensations, you want to improve muscle mass and fat loss, you want to enhance your mood and happiness and brain cognition, then make sure you've optimized your testosterone levels and have youthful hormonal balance. That's the key. And below this video, I've listed important links all about today, best ways, fastest, and most effective ways of naturally increasing your testosterone levels for both men and women. So make sure you scroll down, take a look at the videos and options and everything else. As always,